You're listening to Charting the Future, a podcast for independent pediatricians by PCC. For more information about our software and services, please visit www.pcc.com or visit us on social media.
Here I am in the back of a bus coming from the Flora-bama. So welcome, friends. That's my intro today. We're at Women in Pediatrics, and a group of us just went to the Flora-bama to enjoy the beach and some bushwhackers. And I'm here with Dr. Arpita Gupta, who gave a great talk today. We're going to hear about her journey as a pediatrician and what she's up to. So, first of all, welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I was just at the Flora-bama. How back in a bit?
Bushwhackers.
We just had bushwhackers and walked in the ocean.
Yes.
We did see someone with a strangely elongated middle toe, whose tracks were at the beach.
Dragging middle toe.
Dr. Gupta, first of all, if you would introduce yourself.
DePalma.
Oh my gosh.
You forgot.
Yes, I didn't.
Gupta is my name.
Yes, I know.
That's okay.
You want me to start over? You can sit.
That's fine.
All right.
Keep going.
So, Dr. DePalma, the Italian last name.
Yes.
Just tell me about your pediatric career, and then we'll get into your post-pediatric career. Okay, start at the beginning, please.
Okay, so med school, MUSC, College of Charleston, or not College, Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston, College of Medicine. Loved it. Had a wonderful time. Best place to go to med school. Met my husband there. And I actually sent out all of my ERISA applications for internal medicine because that's what I thought I wanted to do.
Gross.
And then, yeah, exactly. Then I realized how much of a train wreck everybody is.
Yep.
And said, no. Pediatric rotation came, and I'm like, oh, this is so much happier. So I retracted all my applications and resent them out to peds. And that's how I matched peds.
That's awesome.
So we had a couples match, too. My husband was PM&R, so we had to submit. So that was kind of a mess because I had to retract and then resubmit for peds with the couples match on top of it. But it worked out. We ended up going to Ohio State University for a residency, and I loved it. It was a great program. Tom Hancock, I think, was the name of the program director then. He was amazing. And I loved it. We had a great time. But I knew right away, even during residency, that I was only going to do this part-time. This was not going to be ever a full-time thing for me. And so I graduated and I worked as an attending in the urgent care there for a year, which was also so much fun as my husband finished his residency. And then we moved to Philadelphia for fellowship and then moved to Richmond. And I found a part-time pediatric position, which was also amazing, perfectly fit, 2 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesdays, 10 to 6. And then I rounded once a month. Then I had nurse practitioners taking first call. So it really was the perfect job. And it fit perfectly into the life that we had and the dream that I had of what I wanted to do. And also be able to be home with the kids and support my husband with his career and all the things. So that was it. That was about 10 years that I did that.
Okay. And then?
And then my practice senior partner got divorced and said, I am leaving. I am going to go to North Carolina and retire, and y'all need to pay me my buyout and figure it out. And so the practice came to me and said, you need to go full time because we can't afford all this, and then you part time. And I said, no, I can't do it because I've got littles and I have always wanted to be present for my littles, and full time was never an option for me on the table. And so I talk about this today, like how I didn't really understand where it came from. It was just a kind of guttural, no, I'm not doing that.
Yep.
And I honored it. And so I stopped working. I resigned from that practice. And a lot of my struggle after that was really finding worth in what I was going to be doing afterwards, because it was very, very hard. I never actually found another position that only allowed me to work 2 days a week and then be able to be home for my kids and be there after school and all the things. So I really had a major transition, but the challenge really was myself, like how I was choosing to think about that transition. So.
All right. So we're going to get back to that in a minute.
Okay.
I want to ask you a couple of questions that I ask everyone.
Okay.
First of all, do you remember where we met and when?
We met at the Women in Pediatrics retreat in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
It was the first one I had been to. And I thought you were very, very outgoing.
Really?
Maybe obnoxiously so.
Oh.
But in a good way.
All right.
Yeah, I was a little intimidated.
Well, that is a silly word to associate with me. I'm not an intimidating person.
No, not at all. Now that I've gotten to know you, yes.
Wow, I'm gonna have to rethink that. But I've been asking everyone that question because I don't always know.
Oh,
And, all right, you were easy because we met somewhat recently,
Yes.
and I remember Puerto Rico. That was great.
yeah.
But other people have given me stories where I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. All right, so as a pediatrician,
Yes.
what's keeping you up at night right now? And I realize it's a loaded question because we're going to talk about not as a pediatrician, but as a pediatrician, what keeps you up at night?
I think it's clearly the state of healthcare.
Yep.
And like the vaccine skepticism and the information or the misinformation that's getting
Yep.
put out there. And what's going to happen to my kids' kids?
Yep.
Who's going to take care of them properly and make sure that they've covered their bases and they're doing all the right things? That is honestly what kicks me up because it's going to impact us if we don't.
Get our act together.
Yep. And it's not us necessarily. It's the forces that are being placed upon us
Yep.
that is inhibiting our ability to practice the way we want to.
Yeah. Now, what are you looking forward to? What excites you? What's fun? What's interesting?
So my kids are in their 20s. One's about to graduate in 2 weeks. One's in the middle of it. And honestly, what excites me is it's selfish and it's allowed to be, but it's seeing where they go next and how this evolves now, right? This is a completely different phase of life for them. We've entered empty nesting now for 2 years, that how we get to support them or like be minimalist and not support them, be out of their way to really see how they grow. I think that's really exciting. Super fun.
That's a good answer. Now I want you to tell us, though, about what you've done since you were a pediatrician.
Okay.
Or like, what are you doing every day right now?
Okay, so every day right now, I am working on, I coach my clients. I'm a trauma-informed advanced certified coach, so I do a lot of mindset work for my women physician colleagues and honestly all women, high-functioning, highly productive women who are busting their butts, but really just don't have that level of contentment. They really just still feel like something's missing.
Yep.
And so it's helping them recognize what is truly bringing joy in their life, how to bring intention in their life, be present in their life, create exactly what they want. And like, because we're taught that you just go this path of med school, residency, training, career, and then you start your family and you just keep going. And one day it's going to be amazing and you're going to reach this pinnacle of ultimate success and relaxation. But you're like, when the hell is that ever going to happen?
Yep.
Right. And so the point is to not wait for that to happen, but to enjoy it along the entire way. And so how do we start to learn to do that? So that's what I do day to day. I coach women. I will love on my puppies, take them for a walk.
Yep.
I do run my husband's interventional spine practice. So I'm essentially the COO of the practice. And I have finally bit the bullet a couple years ago and found somebody who was amazing to be the DOO. So she does the day-to-day operations, and I just kind of am the consultant. The implementer.
Yep.
And that was also a big mindset shift for me because my thought was, why can't I just do it myself? I don't want to pay somebody for this. I can do it.
Yep.
I don't
That
want
is
to do
spoken like the daughter of a first-generation American.
There you go. There you go. Exactly.
I can just work twice as hard.
I can do this myself instead of paying somebody.
Right.
And then you burn out and you are grumpy and irritable and angry. And so, it's starting to realize there's a reason why we pay people to do stuff.
Yep.
So.
Okay. Where can people find you?
Oh, people can find me at thoughtworkmd.com is my website. I also have 2 podcasts that are amazing and actually very beneficial for people who are angry or resentful or just unhappy. It's called From Pissed Off to Poised. That's an excellent podcast. And we talk about the traumas in our past and how that impacts us. So we talk about our traumas in our past and how that impacts us and how we can actually start to build compassion for ourselves and recognize why we behave the way we do and then start to make some shifts towards what we want to do instead.
Okay.
All right.
So we got both names. We found your website.
Yes.
All right. I have 2 more questions.
Perfect.
All right. They're related.
Okay.
If you could go back in your career, especially doing what you do now with the coaching, and give yourself advice 20 years ago, that day you fled residency. All right.
Out.
What advice would you give yourself?
To trust your gut.
Yep.
And your inner knowing, and you have to give yourself space and pause to hear it. because there's so much chatter and noise from the outside world that really makes it hard to hear and hard to know and hard to see it. So allow yourself that space to reflect, decide, acknowledge, and then act on what is truly in your best interest for you.
Okay, I think you actually answered my next question with that answer.
Okay.
But as a professional coach,
Yes.
if you could give the world one piece of advice that they would listen to, what would that be?
It would be that you got to be present and live your best life today.
Okay.
And you do that by recognizing, again, what is most important to you. How do you build more of that in your life? If anytime you feel like there's a push or pull with what you're doing, that means that it's not effortless. It's not easeful. So
Right.
how do you bring more easeful joy back in your life and then do more of that?
Okay.
I.e., if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
And they would find more details on your website for that.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And for those of you who've never been to the Flora-bama, I recommend going at least once. It's kind of like
Bushwhacker.
Yeah, get a bushwhacker. It's like the Grand Canyon or seeing, I don't know, Mount Rainier. You go to the Flora-bama.
You know, it reminded me of our days on Folly Beach in Charleston in med school. That bar. It's
Yep.
like, oh my gosh, this is bringing back some memories.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. More information can be found in our show notes. Production and editing by Chip Hart, Ali Squires, and Chris Forleo. Music by Challenger C. I'm Mark Herney.